Hello, I'm Richard Murphy, and I want to address a question that I was asked very recently by a group of activists with whom I was in discussion in Scotland. And they asked me a straightforward question, which was, could Scotland afford to be independent? Now, I'm pleased to say there's a very simple and very straightforward answer to this question, and it is unambiguously yes. And the reason why I can say that without a shadow of a doubt that I'm right is that if I look around Europe and indeed around the world, which is all the evidence that we've got, there are large numbers of countries of about the size of Scotland which appear to be doing very well. If I suggest a few, you'll obviously agree. New Zealand is a perfect example of a country that is Scotland's size that is clearly prospering right now because of great political leadership. It also happens to be fortunate that it is ring-fenced from some of the impact of coronavirus, but only fortunate to the extent that it made its own good fortune. Denmark is another country of very similar size that is doing very well in Europe right now. It is one of the happiest countries on earth. Incomes are much higher than in Scotland, although the actual physical benefits of being Danish as opposed to being Scottish in terms of the oil inheritance, the renewable resource inheritance and so on is remarkably similar. Ireland is another country that we can look at which has obviously thrived, a little smaller than Scotland but still functioning very nicely. And of course there are others. Norway is roughly the same size. And if we go down the scale, we can even go to a country like Iceland and point out that 325,000 people there seem to be able to manage their own affairs quite well without any difficulty and have, for example, come through crises like that which the banking crisis of 2008 made there when they did effectively go bankrupt because they were so overgeared with regard to their financial services sector, and yet from which they've recovered again because of good political leadership, that they are clearly successful. And we can see that inside other states within Europe, particularly some of the former Soviet bloc states which have become independent and are doing quite well. So is it possible for Scotland to be independent? Yes. Is there any evidence that a country in Scotland's relative position as a well-developed, long history, stable politically, stable economically country having ever failed as a consequence of becoming independent? No. Is there any chance that it will fail because of that? Putting it in a category all by itself in the entire world? No. Can Scotland therefore afford to become independent? Of course it can. It's a simple, straightforward statement of fact that Scotland is comparable to these other countries and it will survive just as they do. Of course, with the odd bump and scrape along the way. Every country has those. But absolutely, Scotland can afford to be independent. Thanks for watching. If you're interested in what I've been saying in this video, please subscribe. There is a button below the viewing screen. If you're interested in what I have to say on Twitter, I'm at Richard J. Murphy on that medium. If you want to look at my blog, that's taxresearch.org.uk, and we have a Facebook page as well, Richard J. Murphy. So one of those things will get you more information on what this video series is about, and I hope I'll see you again soon.